Hey everyone, happy Friday. We made it through another week. And for those veterans out there, thank you so much for your service here in the US. We are live with my guest here in Sweden. Matthias, how are you with Dstny?
Good, and thanks for inviting me to the podcast, Ewan. It's great to
Well,
be
well
here.
thanks for being here. I know it's getting late in your day. Um, Maybe introduce Dstny, a name that many in the industry don't know here in the US, but you're quite a powerhouse globally, in particular in Europe.
Well, I mean, yeah, we are in some sense, and I think that our customers might be even more famous than we are, since we have a lot of the leading MNOs and the telcos in the European landscape as customers. But there are a few people that know about Dstny in Europe as well. So, I mean, I represent the part of Dstny that is the service provider part. So we are to be seen as the product house, the innovation center of Dstny, and we provide service providers with a few different things, but mainly it's UCaaS, it's analytics, it's customer engagement, and we are also quite strong on integrations. So we are probably the largest provider of Microsoft Teams telephony integrations globally, actually. So,
Wow.
but I mean, for many, probably an unknown name, but our customers are more famous, I guess.
Well, it's good to be known by your customers, not the general public. And of course, you're dealing in B2B, I imagine, versus
True.
individuals or very small businesses. And you've been at this for some time. How has the cloud communications landscape evolved over your tenure at Dstny, and what have been some of the key drivers there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for a bit more than 15 years,
Mhm.
so that means I'm not 20 anymore, fortunately. And also, I mean, I would say that the start of what we do, it started with the UCaaS platform, and then it has kind of evolved. But that started also somewhere 15, 20 years ago, and it started in the Nordics, in Europe. And I would say that from the start, it has been a mobile first UCaaS platform, and then of course we have been adding functionality and things on top of that along the way. But it started actually as a mobile first UCaaS platform. So that is also, I would say, how we are running all the innovation that we do, which means that everything that we create, for the end user in the end, of course, should be consumable through the mobile device. So all the features, all the functions, all the innovation should be all the way out through the mobile experience. And I mean, today we have approximately 4 million users, something like that,
Wow.
and a bit more than 2 million of these are actually mobile first, with a tight native mobile integration.
Wow, that's impressive. I had no idea. 4 million businesses. So, can you share a case study where your collaboration tools, really transformed business operations? Do you have a favorite client or two, maybe favorite child or two you want to talk about?
Yeah, but I mean, first, in general, I mean, I would say that it has changed the market in that sense that I mean, businesses has gone from traditional PBXs and desk
Hmm.
phones to, of course, cloud services. But also, I mean, we have large customers with thousands of users that
Mm.
are only using the mobile device. So I mean, through a big service provider in the Nordics, we have a municipal in Finland, with almost 40,000 seats, and they
Wow.
are more or less 100% mobile. It might be a few analog devices here and there, of course, but and might have slipped in a desk phone or two, but I would say 99% of these users are actually mobile. So that's quite unique, I think, and we also see that is actually starting to happen in more countries. So I mean, in the Benelux, like the Netherlands and Belgium, the kind of the mobile uptake is really strong, and the carriers that we have that works in these markets are selling this as a mobile first solution, and some of them, I mean, they don't even have fixed as a business area. Of course, they might have fixed numbers, but they don't really have fixed telephony. So we see that changing, and also into maybe markets that are less mature. We see that it starts happening in France, in the UK definitely, and Germany and so on. So and I think that since we have I mean, a number of quite famous customers in these countries, I would say that we are probably one of the main reasons behind this total change, I would say.
That's phenomenal. And we're catching up here in the US with mobile
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
although
Well,
we're not
I'm
quite
actually
at.
we are in some conversations with our U.S. customers and as well, and we see I mean, the increase in the interest of this, especially during this year, I would say, has been quite dramatic. So it's good. We see that it's coming in the U.S. as well.
Fantastic. And one challenge or opportunity maybe is you have so many countries, of course, in the EU and beyond, neighbors. I mean, how do you maintain that quality of service, the culture of the company across so many different national contexts, and the unified offer, given all the different nuances and regulations, languages, etc. That must be a challenge.
I mean, yeah, it's two things, I guess. I mean, one is like the cultural thing within the company,
Mhm.
and I mean, also since what is now today Dstny for service provider is kind of the result of a few acquisitions
Mm.
coming together, but we are driving this. So I mean, our unit operates over, as you said, 7 countries or something like that, which means that we are having product development in a few countries, and we are having support in a few countries, and of course we're doing sales and that stuff as well. But I would say it's a strong foundation of also the culture that were in these companies that has come in through acquisitions as well. So, and also like a key thing in when we are acquiring a company, a product company, it's one thing what they have as the product, but I would say if the culture would be wrong, we would never do that acquisition. So it
Mm.
has to be right in that sense. We I mean, to be able to drive a product house and try to stay in front of innovationally wise, I think that you need to have a core culture that it kind of serves that purpose.
Yeah, it's a wonderful mission. And your mission is something you don't hear a lot about in the US with companies like yourself. You talk a lot about sustainability as a core commitment, environmentally friendly policies for your operations, your services. You talk about being green by design, and you seem to put a lot of action behind those philosophies. Tell us more.
I mean, I think it's a responsibility that we all have, and I mean, first of all, of course, what we do is probably green and friendly from an environmental perspective as well. I mean, we're kind of producing cloud services,
Hmm.
so of course it goes what in hand with what we do, but also, I mean, we are, I mean, looking back a few years, of course, all our customers had like their own platform installed in their own data center,
Mm.
and what we're doing now and have been doing for a few years, of course, is gathering that more into to the cloud. So I mean, today a service provider can buy all the services from us as a service through either our own backbone, the data centers of Dstny, or through global cloud services like AWS or Google. So I mean, that itself is also efficient when it comes to the amount of servers and the kind of the
Mm.
environmental footprint that you have in the market, and of course trying to have as many ISO certifications and stuff like that as possible to do it in the best way.
Also, a very much appreciated mission. Of course, just generally collaboration reduces travel, CO2. You're not getting on planes. We're doing this podcast. We didn't have to meet up for it, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's all wraps into one.
Even if it would be nice to see each other by the coffee machine and stuff, but we'll have to live with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell us about your corporate culture. You mentioned acquisitions, but you have built a really interesting culture from what I read in the press and media, including kindness is one of your corporate cultural pillars, which is unusual. I always thought kindness is an important quality in business, but tell us more.
I mean, I think it starts with what I said before, that the companies that has come together under the Dstny umbrella. I mean, the companies has to have a good culture
Mm.
to start with. Otherwise, it won't work in the Dstny world. And also it starts with, I would say, Dan, our group CEO. So I mean, these kind of questions that comes down to the culture, to mental health, and to wellness, is something that he really
Mm.
has as one of his core interests, and are investing a lot of money into. So I mean, I would say that everything from having tools for finding out whether people are feeling well or not, but
Oh, wow.
also how we are working with the offices, and we also, I would say, invest a lot in the staff as well. In of course coming together like events and stuff, but also on an individual level, with how we are driving education and stuff like that internally. So it's important for us. And also I would say that probably a good result of that is that a lot of people have been with Dstny for many years, and they tend to
Mm.
stay. And also that there are a lot of people that are in roles now that they were not a year ago or 5 years ago, and so on. So I think it's actually a good path internally as well. So which is important for people to be able to create their own career, but within the company.
Yeah, it's a wonderful sentiment. And it's always amazing when you deal with an empowered employee, let's say in support or service, you can just tell that that person is on board and engaged, and it makes such a
And
difference.
also maybe compared to a lot of other companies, I would say that we really encourage people to dare to take decisions and to act.
Mm.
So we're not the typical hierarchical bureaucratic company. So we are actually try to empower the employees in a way where they can actually feel that they have the company's support in taking decisions. We rather see somebody take a decision and it goes wrong, rather than stay passive.
Well, that's the best way to learn, for sure. And talk about your go-to-market and position. I mean, you have so many partnerships and channels with telcos, with you mentioned Microsoft. How does it all come together? What is your go-to-market exactly?
I mean, there are. I mean, there is a part of Dstny with direct businesses in a few
Mhm.
markets. That is not the business that I represent, since I represent the more the product house, the service provider business. So I
Mhm.
mean, mainly we go to market through external channels in form
Mhm.
of service providers. We believe though that the service provider should be in charge of their own destiny, which means that everything that we deliver is actually white label. So we
Okay.
think that a service provider need to claim their space in the market, and have a really strong value proposition, building the brand, and the kind of giving the customers the customer value. And so therefore we think that the service provider should kind of own their own business and brand. So what we do is 100% white label all the way through, whether service provider or building the brand proposition and doing the invoicing and stuff like that. We see ourselves as the kind of the innovation house that
Mm,
empowers this. And, because otherwise we think that service providers that the kind of steps away from that, we think that in the long run they will be more as more of a bit provider, and I think it will be hard for them to compete with anything but price, which will probably dig a big hole in their business case, and eventually put them lower and lower in the value chain as well.
indeed. Yeah, it's a downward spiral for sure.
Yeah.
And tell us about your relationship with Microsoft. I mean, some years ago, people would view Microsoft as a competitor potentially, but you've really embraced the Microsoft suite and all their work in the various divisions. How's that going?
Yeah, I mean, we are probably the largest provider of integrated telephony into
Mm,
Teams. So that's one thing, but also what Microsoft see is actually, of course, the value in. I mean, they don't own any network
mm.
that the telcos do. So I mean, by combining Microsoft with good network services, it will probably bring so much more value to the end customer, which is good for Microsoft as well. And I mean, to be able to consume all the Microsoft products, you need a good carrier to empower that with good bandwidth and so on. So that's one thing. And also, I mean, we innovate on top of Microsoft, which in the end, I mean, the end customer benefits from. So by taking the best from Microsoft and the best from the telcos networks, and in a combination with what we can offer, everything from a more advanced UCaaS core to over the top services like analytics, or being able to actually use Teams, but then also combine that with other channels for serving the customers, like WhatsApp or different social media streams, and even actually bringing it into the Teams environment and the Teams experience. That I think Microsoft really benefits from as well. So it's for us, it's like a win-win, and also when it comes to like the word competition in our world, the word we tend to use is co-petition, because we think
Mm.
that the market is big enough for everyone to kind of benefit from. So we rather embrace our competitors rather than try to go head to head with them as well.
It's a fair approach. And particularly when it comes to AI, I mean, you may have seen the open AI announcement yesterday, just a blockbuster
Yeah.
updates. Of course, Satya was there on stage as well, briefly, with all of its offerings. And this, I imagine, is going to power a lot of your future services, or whether it's analytics or CX or other capabilities. Is that something I imagine you're working in the labs hard on adding value? Is that something you're talking about today with customers?
I mean, it is, and I mean, I think that I mean, first of all, I mean, we are already using it both
Oh,
in the background when it comes to
mhm.
the development piece, and we even acquired a pure AI company a couple of years ago.
Oh,
But we
wow.
are all, I mean, so we are what we are using it for. I would say is one thing is the development piece and in the background, but then also, I mean, we have a omni-channel product today, including chatbot functionalities and stuff like that, where we are also bringing in like chat GPT and things like that to support all the way out through to the end customer. So that's one thing, but also a part which is I mean even as important is how we are using the AI capabilities for the kind of the background work for the service provider when they are operating in the portals, and also to come up with actual upsell paths, and seeing where there are pieces missing, and also make sure that we are kind of avoiding failure in the implementation phase, or
Hmm.
stuff like that. So it's already a part of what we do in the making the life of the service provider more easier and correct.
Well, it's going to be an exciting journey to say the least. I can't believe we're in the middle of November already. What are you looking forward to the rest of the year? Do you have any more travel events or otherwise? Or are you in planning mode for next year?
Of course, it's a combination,
Hmm.
but I mean, we have a lot of things to do. So I mean, we're a growth company. So I mean,
Hmm.
we think our annual growth is around 25% or something like that, and
Wow.
has been for a long time. So of course, we are implementing new customers, and we are also, of course, since I would say that the last 2 years, since this part of the Destiny journey really took off. I mean, we have extended the portfolio with more or less 50% of the stuff that we have today. We didn't have like 2 or 3 years ago, and of course that means that our customers are still in a phase where they are kind of putting on new features, and launching new stuff in the market. So of course, a lot of work around that. And externally, of course, there are a few more events to attend. So we are attending in a big telecom event in Amsterdam in 2 weeks. I think where
Oh,
most of
nice.
at least the big European ones will attend the Total Telecom Congress in Amsterdam. So there is still a lot to do this year.
Still a
So
lot of work to do for a
yeah,
big
yeah.
close. Well, thank you so much for sharing, your vision and mission. It really is intriguing as a longtime telecom guy. I guess last question, what do you do to detach, to switch off, to tune out, uh, particularly with winter coming up? How do you like to get out of the office? Do you head south like the rest of the Northern Europeans maybe for to get some
So, I
fresh
mean,
air and
I,
sunshine?
I live in Sweden though, so I mean it's we have proper summers, but we also do have proper winters. So it's always we can actually just jump in the car and go for a couple of hours, and then we can ski down the slopes,
Yeah,
which is
skiing's
good,
great.
which I really like. Probably my favorite vacation,
Nice.
not only stay on a sunbed. And apart from that, probably grabbing
Oh, we're gonna get some props here. Oh my
this one,
goodness. Well,
this one.
if I'd known that, we would have had a little guitar session here. So I don't
Exactly,
want to
exactly.
put you
So
on the spot, but that's fantastic. Do you play in
those
public, or
need
for
to find
anyone in
your.
audiences and pubs, or is it more for your own edification?
I actually do both, even
Oh, wow.
if I do this more for fun. But sure, I mean, I've been playing music for 25 years or something, so it's really something that I enjoy doing. So you need to stay at your right.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful way to detach and to reinvigorate. Love it, love it. So thanks so much for sharing, a little bit of your personal journey and the vision and the mission, and hope we can see each other maybe at Mobile World Congress. I'll be there for sure next year in Barcelona.
Sure, or if
Or
you're
it's
at the Enterprise Connect in Orlando, we will be
oh,
there
there,
for
yeah, I
as
will
well.
be there as well. So lots of opportunity to connect. And thanks everyone for watching. Reach out to Destiny, doing some amazing work in our space. Thanks
Thanks
everyone.
for having us, Yoon.
Thanks.